A quiet afternoon took a shocking turn when police officers pulled over a black man for what they later admitted was just for fun. But this wasn't any ordinary citizen. Unbeknownst to the officers, they had just arrested a decorated U.S. military veteran, a Medal of Honor recipient, and a national hero who had served his country with courage and sacrifice. What started as a routine encounter quickly escalated into something far more serious as the veteran's identity came to light, leaving the officers scrambling and the community outraged. Who was this man? And how could someone so highly respected be subjected to such treatment? As the story unfolds, you'll hear firsthand accounts of what happened that day, the aftermath of the officer's shocking realization, and the powerful message this veteran had for the world. Stay tuned. This is a story you won't forget. As the officers led the man to their patrol car, they joked among themselves, unaware of the storm they were about to unleash. The veteran, calm and composed, chose not to reveal his identity right away. He remained quiet, observing their behavior, his silence carrying the weight of someone who had seen far worse than petty abuse of authority. But behind that calm exterior was a man who had dedicated his life to protecting the very freedoms these officers were meant to uphold. Born in a small town, he had joined the military as a young man, rising through the ranks with grit, determination, and an unshakable sense of duty. His bravery in the face of danger had earned him the nation's highest military honor. But now he stood in handcuffs, humiliated by the very system he had fought for. What would happen when his identity was finally revealed? As the officers drove to the station, they continued their casual banter, treating the situation like a routine stop. Meanwhile, the veteran sat silently in the back seat, his mind racing, not with fear, but with disbelief. How could this happen in the country he had risked his life for? Memories of the battles he'd fought and the sacrifices he'd made played in his mind, contrasting starkly with the indignity he now faced. At the station, the officers processed him like any other suspect, running his name through their system. That's when the atmosphere shifted. One of the officers froze, staring at the screen. His tone quickly changed as he whispered to his colleague. The realization hit them hard. They weren't dealing with an ordinary citizen. They had just arrested a Medal of Honor recipient, someone whose name was synonymous with bravery and selflessness. But by then, word had already begun to spread, and the situation was spiraling out of their control. As the officers stared at the veteran's profile, a chilling silence filled the room. His service record wasn't just impressive, it was legendary. Details of life-saving missions, acts of extraordinary bravery, and years of dedication flashed on the screen, leaving no doubt about the man's stature. Panic set in as the officers realized the gravity of their mistake. This wasn't just an embarrassing blunder. It was a potential public relations nightmare. While they scrambled to figure out their next move, news of the arrest began leaking beyond the station. Other officers and staff, some veterans themselves, were appalled when they learned who had been brought in. Word spread quickly, and soon the tension in the building was palpable. Meanwhile, the veteran sat quietly in the holding room, still composed. He had faced far greater adversity in life, but the sting of this injustice cut deep. The question now wasn't just what the officers would do, but how the public would react once the truth came out. Just as the officers were debating how to handle the situation, an unexpected call came into the station. It was from a local journalist who had caught wind of the arrest and wanted to confirm if the rumors were true. The officers, now visibly shaken, realized they had no time to cover up their actions. Word was spreading faster than they could contain it, and the possibility of a media storm was becoming very real. But that wasn't the only surprise waiting for them. Moments later, a senior officer walked into the room, demanding an explanation. He had served in the military himself and immediately recognized the veteran's name. Furious and embarrassed, he ordered the veteran's immediate release and began questioning why he had been detained in the first place. As the senior officer spoke with the veteran, another twist unfolded. The man revealed he had recorded parts of the encounter on his phone before being taken into custody. That revelation sent shockwaves through the room. The evidence of their actions was undeniable, and the stakes had never been higher. The senior officer's face hardened as the veteran calmly mentioned the recording. The room fell silent as the officers realized there was no escaping accountability. The senior officer apologized directly to the veteran, his voice tinged with both shame and respect. But the veteran wasn't looking for pity. He was looking for justice. As he was escorted out of the station, the local journalist arrived, camera in hand, asking questions that no one wanted to answer. The veteran, still composed, chose that moment to speak. In a calm but firm tone, he recounted the events, not with anger, but with a deep sadness for how far things had fallen. His words carried weight, forcing everyone to confront the deeper issues at play. But then came the unexpected twist. The veteran revealed that this wasn't the first time he had experienced such treatment. He explained that his quiet demeanor wasn't just a reflection of his training, but of years spent navigating a world where his accomplishments didn't always shield him from prejudice. With the recording now in the journalist's hands, the story became bigger than anyone could have anticipated. A call for change, sparked by a man who had already given so much. The veteran's story quickly went viral, sparking national conversations about accountability, respect, and the treatment of those who have served the country. The officers involved faced internal investigations, and the police department issued a formal apology. But for the veteran, it wasn't about personal vengeance. It was about creating awareness and pushing for change. In the days that followed, communities came together, inspired by the veteran's resilience and grace. His story became a symbol of hope and a reminder of the work still needed to ensure dignity and fairness for everyone, regardless of their background or accomplishments. When asked if he regretted how the day unfolded, the veteran simply replied, "Sometimes, moments like these are necessary to remind us all of what still needs to be fought for." His words resonated deeply, leaving a lasting impact on everyone who heard them. And just like that, his legacy grew even stronger.